Singapore for Token 2049, and today I'm with Rushi from Movement. Hi,
G-Move.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mia. Thanks for having me again.
It's good to sit down with you. We talked briefly in Seoul.
We did.
But it was too brief. There's way more to talk about here.
There's a little bit more.
I want to know how, one thing is what drove you into this industry,
Yep.
and then how you had this idea for Movement.
Yep. So I'll start my engineering career, I would say 6 years ago. My father was really into IT and information technology, and I was very interested in like cybersecurity, distributed systems. So I started my career early on in like computing. From there, like I was the youngest engineer at United Health Group. Had a background in like on-prem to cloud migration, so distributed systems, AWS, etc. I would say around August 2022, I started reading this article that said Facebook was building a new programming language, or before that actually. And the thesis was I was used to like 5 users on Ethereum and 20 users on Cosmos, or actually the other way around. And here's the way for Facebook to bring 1 billion users, literally 1 billion users, to crypto. Unfortunately, due to regulation, it shut down, and Facebook spun out into Aptos and Sui, two L1s. And around September 2022, I built the first DEX on Aptos called Kairos.
Okay.
My co-founder built a yield aggregator called Sate. So we were two early grassroots builders, didn't have like fancy PhDs or anything, and we were both in college. Then November 2022, with the idea of Move coming to EVM land and Ethereum land. The general thesis was we believe in Move as language, but wanted broader liquidity bases. So started Movement, and since then been crushing it.
How long did you work on it?
It's been 2 years now, or 1 year and 3 quarters now.
When you start building something, obviously, like you're also like figuring out which ways to turn. What was a significant moment where you figured out something that was truly significant for the direction you ended up taking?
I think July of 2023, it was ETC, and we were struggling at the time. Like we raised like 2 million, which was really thankful for, obviously, but compared to other layer 1 and layer 2s, it was pennies on the dollar. So we went to ETC, just met networking. We met our pre-seed investor, DAO5 or Tekken, and the kind of vision he pitched was he also believed in Move. This is back when pretty much no one believed in Move. It was depths of bear market. Anyone that was in crypto was actually building something legit or like complete scammer. And he was like, okay, Move is really cool. How do you bring it to Ethereum land? So started building with him. They led our pre-seed, and then since then been being a bunch of cool people, and here I am today.
Yeah, there's been a lot more buzz around Movement recently than before. What drove that?
I think obviously a big financing round, Series A, but I think mostly we're seeing like a community ecosystem come live. So we have 11 venture-backed projects that are all raised capital and coming to market. We have significant community traction, monetary traction. I think like the G-Move thing actually kind of works in that people love saying it, being part of the culture, but we're also seeing a lot of community meetups. So we have big traction in Africa, Nigeria specifically, where we have big movement community of people who are writing Move, building a Move, talking about movement, as well as like in Indonesia and Asia. So doing a lot of work there. I think last 4 months have really been our takeoff moment. Is
this the primary market you're focusing on?
Well, we're American. We're based in San Francisco, so can't really say much about that. But I think like the broader adoption for crypto is international waters. In the United States, you have Venmo, you have PayPal. Generally, it works fine, right? But for Argentina, 1/3 of Argentina uses crypto because the currency's poor, as well as like Nigeria, like the currency is broken, right? So in developing markets, crypto is very important, especially like DeFi and like payments. The issue is that institutions and individuals don't feel secure using Ethereum and EVM because it's been hacked, it's been gone so many issues. So the thesis is how do you bring secure programming and execution to Ethereum? So that's our movement thesis.
Yeah, I guess like when they look at a new project, the first thing they look for is how is it different and why it might win.
Yep.
What do you usually answer to that?
So there's two things. I think from user experience, we'll be the fastest layer 2, first fast layer 2 market. So we'll have parallelization and high throughput execution on Ethereum. And then beyond that, what we're seeing is like security is really important. Where we're pitching to LPs, the family offices saying, look, you couldn't deploy capital on Ethereum in the past because you were scared it's going to get hacked. Here's a layer 2 solution that enables you to have move forward verification at runtime, such that when you execute smart contracts, you don't have to worry about getting hacked or poor integer mishaps that a lot of hacks happen from. So they're essentially fast and secure is what we say.
What are some near milestones you have inside?
So we just launched testnet 4 weeks ago. We've crushed over 5.5 wallets and like hundreds of millions of transactions. We're one of the highest performing TPS chains in the industry. And then going beyond that, we're really looking at a mainnet coming up in November.
And for next year?
For next year, I would say we really work in ecosystem. So I think after mainnet, we're putting a lot of resources and capital into Africa. I'm a firm believer that we can really take the Nigerian market because they're really into crypto, really need it, but no big protocol spent a lot of time there. So I think next phase expansion will be going to Africa and really focusing on that.
What's the sort of impact you're looking to have there?
Well, stablecoin is obviously very important, right? As a digital currency, but I think like even small things like Telegram mini games, right? Like the kids there, they play Telegram, they use Telegram, they play Telegram, and they can interact with the movement testnet and mainnet eventually, and get access. We also have Up Network, which is a team building a movement phone. There's already sold 5 million copies or 5 million units of the movement phone. So big market for them is Nigeria, where again, like people want to use crypto wallets. Current phones don't have great infrastructure, so the Up Network phone comes installed with movement wallets. They can use movement DeFi as well, get access to movement rewards.
It sounds like an interesting market. I haven't heard much about it.
Yep.
What are some of the key things that you learned about it? Like what really stood out?
From the African market?
Yeah.
I think it's like community is very important. So I think we have a community meetup every 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, mostly in Nigeria. And people like family there, right? So like it's not more about Twitter or CT there. It's more about like, oh, what is your friend talking about? What's like your local validator talking about, right? So for those groups, it's really important to penetrate the validator groups, penetrate the messaging channels. So it's not like traditional marketing that we have. It's really community marketing, going to even like rural villages and like explain like, here, you guys have internet, you guys can now get access to U.S. Treasury bills. For example, like a lot of villages in Africa or Nigeria, like they have capital, they have a little bit of money on chain or whatever, right? But they don't have access to financial institutions. They can't get like T-bills, they can't get investment options. So for these regions, they can now put assets in U.S. Treasuries with crypto. They can get APY via Aave. They can get like Ethereum-like stables, right? So there's a lot of DeFi use cases, but also it's like sending payments, right? So like remittance is a big use case. So when a lot of people from Nigeria go back to the United States to work, how do you send money USDT? Right now, use Western Union, use something like that, but Western Union is kind of broken, very expensive, slow. So crypto can solve those rails as well.
I don't know much about it, but from like just broad perspective, to me it feels like this audience would have less of a structured, obvious education background.
Yeah.
What's the learning curve there?
For like for crypto or move language?
For crypto.
Yeah, so obviously it's very difficult to learn. A lot of these groups don't have access to technology a lot. Education rates are like limited. I think again going back to community is the best way to do education, because if you send them a white paper, they'll be like, what is this, right? I can't really understand this. So like really all the technical stuff goes out the window. It's just the pitch is simply like, look, you have assets, whether it's like cash, gold, whatever, and you want to earn US T-bills or you want to put it on chain, do payments or other use cases. Here's movement ability to have a high throughput, so you don't have to pay a lot of fees. You can send money around the world at speed of light, as well as security. So when you deposit assets on chain, the worst thing that could happen to them is to get hacked, because they're already very susceptible. And if they were to get hacked, it'd be pretty bad for the industry itself. So we're really working on being the fastest and most secure solution for them, so they can bring this market to broader audiences.
So sort of like simplifying and building the trust.
Yes.
In your personality, it makes you so driven about this?
I've always been interested in security. What gets me up and going is like, how do I get my mom to use crypto? Yeah. Every time I talk to her, she's like, okay, it's like gonna get like, if it's scams as well, it's gonna get hacked. Like, I don't know if I can trust it. And she's largely correct, right? Like look at like last year, there was over $4.5 billion lost in smart contract hacks. largely on Ethereum and EVM-based ecosystems that simply cannot and will not scale. So when we ask like how are we going to get adoption, how are we going to get people on chain, we have to have systems that people trust. So my job is to build systems that are secure and financially scalable, so people can understand and trust it.
And when you take this optimistic perspective, you project it towards the future, say like in, we're not going to say the 5 years, but say in 3 years, where is movement? Where are you?
We want to be the biggest layer 2 on Ethereum that has most amount of volume and specifically most amount of TVL, where people, because like if you look at the Rubik system, it started off as very small. There's only 20 million TVL when we started in November 2022. So people were like, oh, it's small, no one uses it, right? Now, especially with Sui's recent rise, is around 1.5 billion in move chains. And it's never been hacked, knock on wood, right? So that kind of is a testament to, okay, like this move thing might have something to it, right? So our thesis is like current EVML2s are very not secure, like have issues. How do we bring this language to the forefront? So want to be the biggest move chain and secondly, the biggest ETH2.
That's really exciting.
Yep.
For everyone watching, where can they find you?
You can find me at Rushi Manche on Twitter, RUSHI MANCHE, and at Movement Labs XYZ on Twitter.
Rushi, thank you.
Thank you, Mia.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a hive.
You know we do not understand that we do not want.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Get back at the Genzio Media House.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.